Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is the long-awaited, for me at least, collection reorganization video. So I have mentioned this video a few times in recent videos that I did because I have just been feeling the need to really rethink about how I store all of my makeup. I'm just not using things to their full potential, and I will explain that as I go along here. But I am essentially, today I have the goal of just taking all of these out of these bins and breaking down where I've always thought I should store all of these and rethinking it and reimagining and putting things back in bins that make more sense for how I want to use my makeup moving forward. So I just decluttered my collection, like in real time. I just did it like 5 minutes ago. In YouTube time, it was my video last week, so I'll link that down below. But this is what I was left with. This is what I've got now. This is my whole makeup collection, every single piece of makeup I own. And I am super, super excited to now reorganize. I also should mention that part of my sort of decluttering earlier this year, and I'll link this video too, was to depot a ton of my eyeshadow palettes into single shadows. I just want to be upfront. I'm not contending with this entire thing today. Basically, I'm leaving this like this right now. You can see I've started organizing into like color categories a little bit and things like that, but this is just going to take time and use to understand how I want this organized. I'm not going to be able to reorganize now. I have not used it often enough to know how it will be most useful to me organization wise. So this one's staying as is. I'm not going to contend with that today. So if you were hoping for that, I'm really sorry. I promised you that I will share what this palette looks like once it's reorganized, once I know that. But I'm going to move it out of frame just so we're not working with this right now when I'm sort of trying to figure everything else out. I also have my cat here with me today, so you might see his paws coming in and out of frame as well while I'm working on this today. So first things first, I'm just gonna basically dump everything out and recategorize. I think I'm gonna have to do like piles because I can't get like all of my like products in a row. Like I'm gonna have to be like, here's all my powder blushes, right? Like in this little stack. Because likely those will all stay together. I think, at least right now, I think. I've kind of gone back and forth in this Oma one because it's kind of a face palette, actually. It's got a bronzer or contour and a highlighter. So I'm actually think I'm gonna put it up here, which I've never done before. It always goes with my bronzers, but today's a new day. Okay, I'm struggling to get it all in frame. I think I need to just restructure a little bit here because I really want my lip products, which are in this bin right now. I want them over on this side over here. And so I'm gonna have to scooch everything down over here. Should have planned ahead a bit, but it's okay, it'll be worth it. Okay, so even as I was moving stuff down, you probably saw me doing some like recalibration here, right? Like I originally had like these eye products far away from like my brows and my mascaras, but I realized like these I think about as a grouping. I also moved this concealer from my concealers to this because these are sort of like weird prep steps that don't have like anyone else to go with, and I really think of it more in that way because I would never use this without then picking a complexion product. So I'm sort of already reimagining here a bit, and that's exciting to me because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And now I need to get my lip products out of here. So we just got lip liners, which I'm just gonna tuck down here for right now. Hopefully I'm all in frame. I am. It's getting a little shadowy. I'm gonna turn some light on here. And then I'm going to move this Rouge Signature Lip Palette next to my powder cheek products and next to my palette cheek products. So just, you know, again, starting to think things through here. And then I'm also gonna take out of my bin here everything that's like a bullet lipstick or like a cream lipstick, something like this that I could use as also a cheek product. I'm gonna go ahead right now and line up near my cream blushes. So all of these stick products here all could feasibly be used as both a lip product and a cheek blush product. Same with this Rouge palette, cheek product or lip product. And then I have this category of lip products that I personally feel are just lip products. So I will line these up down here. They're just a little too glossy, a little too dewy to actually be used as anything other than like a lip gloss. Okay, so there's sort of a differentiate. Well, I'll do this. This is sort of my differentiating line, are the lip liners. Those are the division here. Okay, so this is why I've needed to rearrange. I've already done some shifting and changing here and rethinking and restructuring in my mind how these all play out. I basically need to figure out a way to store these all that actually more align with how I use each of them, not just like categorized by what the products are intended to do. So like, for example, I'll give this example. This Balm Desert from the Balm, it says it's bronzer slash blush, and I use it that way. And it also has a bit of shimmer in it. So it actually is like, for me, an all-in-one cheek product. And it's really beautiful. It's currently with my bronzers, but not for any particular reason, right? Like this could just as easily be a blush as a bronzer. And so it needs to kind of live in that in-between space. And I need to put it somewhere where I will remember that I have this when I'm thinking about both my blushes and my bronzers. Same with this Rouge lip palette. I forget that I have this all the time, and I forget to use it on my cheeks and on my lips, which are both feasible places to use this product, because I frequently forget that I even own it, because it has to be stored completely differently than either of these products. I've always tried to store it with my lip products, but then it's like tucked away. But if I put it with my blushes, I'll never remember that I have it for lips, which is my preferred way of using this. I like it better on my lips than my cheeks. First things first, I think I'm going to just think through like order of operations here for myself normally. So if I'm like getting ready to put my makeup on, what am I picking first? And I think the answer is almost always a primer, and it's almost always this little pile of things as well. So these almost go with just primers, more so than like this eyeshadow primer doesn't really go with my eyeshadow for me. I usually do it when I'm sort of doing my complexion steps. This lip treatment doesn't really go with the lip products for me because it is something I put on just like while I'm trying to moisturize my lips while I do the rest of my face. And then this concealer doesn't really go with my concealers because I don't use it as a concealer. I use it beneath my concealer before I've even done my foundation normally. I usually do it first thing after a primer to really let it like settle under my eyes before I decide how much other coverage I need with it. So these are really sort of my like first go-to products. And I think that I've always known that, and I always pick them out that way, but then I've always stored these along with like my foundation and my setting sprays, and that doesn't make sense because setting spray is always the last thing I reach for. So I think I just need to, rethink that. And then I probably need to put them in different baskets than they've historically been in. So basically I am going to start to section these off. I'm going to basically take these and put them in their own little pile with these over on the side. And I will bring them back out as I have space here and show you how I'm actually reorganizing some of this. But just know that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to put these guys all over here so I can see approximately what size basket I start to need. Okay, after that, I typically would pick a complexion product, foundation and concealer. I have no problem storing these together because I actually think of them pretty much interchangeably, especially like this Merit, this ColourPop. Those are usually like all over face products for me anyways. And then these are just bigger bottles, right? But like these all go together in my mind. This is always just, I'm picking from this pile what complexion I want on my face that day. Like I said, these setting sprays really are just sort of their own little weird category. I've always stored them with my primers, but then I never remember that they're there, which you shouldn't be shocked, right? Because I go to that primer basket first thing. It's the first thing I do. And then this is the very, very, very last thing I do. And I actually think that these setting sprays and my face powders need to be stored together. I think that that is how I think of my setting sprays, either in place of or after I do a setting powder. And so I think these are one category. Totally, totally wildly different than I've ever thought about these before. And I'm really excited about potentially kind of restructuring this. I think these are a really good fit together. And then I do think that my little single palette things here, or my single eye products, I should say, I don't know. I have a hard relationship with these. I mean, the ColourPop I never forget to use. It's just like my favorite thing I own, basically. But these three, I forget that I have them. And I think if they were maybe like more front and center when I'm choosing out my makeup for the day, I might pick them more often. I love all three of them, and so there's no reason for me not to be using them. And I think if I make it part of my routine to pick them when I pick brows, because that's sort of the next step I would usually do, is I would do my brows. If I make them part of that step, I think I'll at least consider them more often than I do right now when they're with my palette. I'm gonna put these with these, and then I'm gonna put them nearby this stuff as well, just because these are kind of just practical items for me. I'm never really like super excited about picking from this bin. It's just sort of like whatever makes sense with the look I'm gonna do. But I think that storing these together with my brow products will mean I reach for them much more often, which will make me super, super happy. So I am going to put these aside as well. And I'm gonna put these aside. And then I'm just gonna quickly talk through the palette situation I've got going on here. So because I depotted the vast majority of my eyeshadow palettes into that big single shadow look, that's also what I'm about to do with this Kaja one. If you watch my declutter, you will understand what's going on here, but eventually this will just be like a little shell. I have these shells to create palettes, custom palettes with, right? Or travel with, or whatever the case may be. So these are to make little palettes. This one is also going to be that. Currently it has eyeshadows in it, but I'm going to pop them out. So these just sort of need to go in like a logistics bucket. And I think I'm going to put them in this basket, which I haven't shown you yet. But this is just a basket where I keep my lashes and some backups of products that I've had just sort of sitting in the wings. So it's like another all-nighter setting spray because mine's almost gone, and mascara I got for free with an order, right? Stuff like that. I think this is going to go in this like logistics basket because that's how I need to think about these. These are like supplies now for creating eyeshadow palettes I want out of what I own, but I don't necessarily need to be having them like in my active collection until they're full with something, at which point I will put them with this stack of palettes. So this stack is my only remaining stack of actual like constructed eyeshadow palettes, like intact eyeshadow palettes. So these will all get stored together, and then when one of these actually has shadows in it, I'll pull it out of here, I'll build the palette, and I'll put it with these. But in the meantime, I think to reduce clutter and not have my brain thinking about what those could be, I am just going to go ahead and put them in this bin, which sort of just sits like down underneath the rest of my makeup, which is a good spot for it. I'm happy with it there, so no changes there really. Just it's a logistics piece now. So that being said, I feel good about these eyeshadow palettes too. I think I just need to, you know what? I'm gonna actually take the one, let me see. Again, if you wanna see what's going on with all of these, you can watch my depotting video. But one of these two, Pat McGrath palettes, is in a different state than the other. And this one, yep. So this one's actually gonna also go with that like palettes in progress section. And I will, I'll think about it in that context now. So that being said, these are gonna go over, I'm gonna go set them right now by this big, huge palette of singles. The tricky part here is that I don't want to set them on top of here when I'm storing it. I want this to store like upright like this, because I've had these on top of here since I depotted, and then guess what happens? I never open this big palette. So I definitely, when I'm actually putting this back away, like in my storage, I need to remember that this needs to go upright and these need to sit in a basket alongside it. So I'm going to move them over there for now, just so I can kind of see what I'm working with here, but they will not be stored directly on top or anything. Okay. Now this part stresses me out a bit because all of these little pieces have such varied use. So for example, this Daniel Sandler works as both a highlighter and as a standalone blush for me, depending on the season. So in the summer, it's a highlighter. In like the winter right now, I can get away with wearing this as an all over cheek color. So it straddles the blush and the highlighter section. Obviously the palettes straddle all of the sections, right? And then, like I said, I've got lip products that I think of as potentially being blushes more than lip products. Like I probably use this Mented lipstick more often as a blush than a lipstick. I like it as both. And storage wise, convenience wise, it's easier to store it with the lip products, but I don't want to forget that I have it, because then I'm always going out and looking at cream blushes that are that exact color. And that's so silly, right? Like I don't need to go buy a cream blush that's like a beautiful peachy pink because I have it. It's just shaped like a lipstick. And again, I mentioned this Balm Desert. This really needs to be straddling the powder bronzers and the powder blushes. So I need to think about how this whole section is going to go. So I think what I'm going to do first is to see what baskets I'm sort of working with here. I am going to put some of these other little categories that I pulled out back into some of the bins I have. So I am not sure exactly how this is gonna go, but we're gonna figure it out together. So I am going to get one of these, and this historically has held like foundations, concealers, but they sort of drive me nuts in these. So actually I'm gonna grab one of these tiny ones that I've got, and I am going to put in my primers here, along with my priming sort of, miscellaneous products like this lip, this concealer, and this eyeshadow primer. And I'm gonna try to put in my complexion products. Could these fit in here? Is there any way? No, there's no way. Okay, so, see, I'm already getting frustrated. Okay, this fits perfectly. This is the setting sprays and then my 3 face powders, and I'm so excited about thinking about those differently. And then I have this that fits the primers perfectly, and then I think these 2 little like top pieces could fit my complexion products. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm actually gonna organize these by like coverage level. So this is my highest coverage foundation now. This is my next highest. And then these, this is really my next highest, actually, this concealer. And then these 3 are relatively light coverage in comparison. So I think I'm just gonna do this. I think these fit nicely in here. And then I can have sort of like, this is all just like complexion, right? It's like the little complexion corner. And then I use these little bins inside of this big guy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Have to reorganize and put them this way, and that's awesome actually, because then it's sort of like start to finish complexion, really simple and straightforward and easy for me to see. So that's awesome. That I feel really good about actually. I think this little gray bin is just gonna be eye stuff, like all the eye stuff. So this is brows, single shadows here. This e.l.f. one's like almost empty, so these will fit a little bit nicer once that's gone. And then I'm gonna put my mascaras and stuff in here too. I think I can just flip them around and they can sort of go this way in here. I almost want to put my eyeliners with these single products over here. Yeah, that feels better to me. So this is just like an eye bucket, and I think this is good. I used to have all these in this space and it just didn't feel like it fit. I think if I put this stuff by my palettes, this will end up getting more usage, and I'm very excited about that. Let me just try arranging some stuff. So I think I've got this section here that is really useful and could easily be cheek products as well, right? Like I could just stack these all like end to end here too. Like palettes, and then I could do like blush, bronzer, highlighter, or whatever. But my worry there is that I'm not resolving the issue I have of the lipsticks. I don't know how to store this many things that are this like dramatically differently shaped. But this Alma could tuck here. It's almost too good to be true, isn't it? Let me just try something. So if I do those and then I do bronzer and I leave this Balm Desert here, then that would mean the next thing that comes after Balm Desert are my powder blushes, because this is sort of straddling that in between. Then it would be Balm Desert, it'd be bronzer, Balm Desert, and then blush. And then after the blush, well, then I'd have cream blush. So then I have these little cream babies here. And I could then stack Daniel Sandler here. And because this one's that sort of like works as a blush or as a highlighter, that'd be a good one to go in between. And then I could do my highlighters here. Gosh, yeah, I really like that. But now I have the same lip product issue as before. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how. I don't know, you guys, because I really wanted these cream blushes with my lipsticks, just face products in here, and then just store my lip product like alongside over here, alongside this, so that I remember what blushes I have. But like these Daniel Sandlers are not secure in here, and like I'd much rather these be in a little box with my lipsticks. And I'm frustrated because I love this, right? Like I love how this complexion is organized. And I like how I put my eye stuff together just now. And so I'm feeling annoyed that I'm feeling like stuck at this stage. What if I did like this bin, or even this long clear one, in like this same sort of style that I did this? And my blush, my cream blushes went like in this corner. Oh, gosh, that's so frustrating. For right now, it goes there. And then I put lipsticks here. And then I could do this, and I could do this next to this, and this could be my other lip products. Maybe that works. Maybe that works. Let me just try this. I mean, it does fit. It does fit. It does fit. Okay, so okay, I think it just needs a little rearranging, but I do think this is the answer. I think this is the answer. And then I actually think maybe these eye products, just to like reduce my clutter, I think my palettes and these eye products might just lay in here nicely. Shoot, that's okay, that can go there. So let me just see, let me see. Okay, I think we're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, I think I did it. I think this is the best I'm gonna get, to be honest. So I've got like my cream and this powder palette of lipsticks here next to cream blushes, powder blushes, by bronzers, by palettes. I think these are just gonna constantly tip over and drive me nuts, but I don't know another way to deal with it. And then I've got highlighters here. I think that that's gonna be good. I like this. I actually think this is how I think about my makeup. I put this liquid lipstick in here because I never use it on my cheeks. That was a silly thing for me to do. If I want a bright red, I have a bright red in my Salt New York for my cheeks, and I know that, and I love it. So I've got lip liners and then like glosses and tints here. And then I'm going to contend with this now again. So I liked having these all in a basket, and I do think they need to go together, but I think they're gonna need to go in here just for space purposes. You know, I just don't have this much room in my bathroom, really. I wonder if I could, I'm gonna also try to get my palettes in here. I wonder if this fits. Okay, it fits this way. I wonder if it fits back here. No, not quite. Okay, that's fine. This can kind of sit off on its own little side spot, and that's okay. So essentially here we are going to try to put these in an organized way over here, and my palettes in here as well. So palettes maybe go leaning against the back here. That looks great. And then I think I'm gonna put my mascaras over in this corner. I usually only have one or two open at a time, so that should work fine. And then I think I can just tuck these. Just gonna move this against the back here. Yep, that's good. And then I'm just gonna tuck my little single eye products up in this corner here with my brows, and I actually think that's awesome. I am feeling pretty dang good. So this is complexion and eyes, and this is like color cosmetics that aren't eyes. So I think if I store everything like this, I actually have a super awesome organization system here. I think everything is kind of with its counterparts in terms of, you know, what I use them for, what I actually use them for. Oh, and then I should have said, this will just get tucked like along this side on my shelf. So it'll be standing upright next to all my other eye products. And I think this does it. I mean, I really think this does it. Just for context, these also used to be completely full of just like misorganized stuff, right? So I'm actually really excited. I could use some baskets elsewhere in my house, and these are awesome. I also will still have this sort of, like I said, this kind of like weird miscellaneous box. This guy is like not part of my collection. It's just there. I only ever look at it when I need something practical. So it'll still sit like nearby. It will not be an active participant along with all of these other products, but this feels so, so good. I hope this was at least sort of interesting for you to watch. I have been thinking about it so much, and it's just been bothering me so deeply for so long that I don't know. I think it's just something worth considering. If you are feeling frustrated in any way with your collection, maybe just like take a look at what you've got and why it's bothering you, and hopefully it will help to just rearrange a bit. I hope you enjoyed this. I have certainly enjoyed it. I feel really good about putting this small, little, tidy, neat collection, organized, beautiful, right back where it goes, and actually diving in and using this now. I really can't wait. So thank you so much for being here. If you are not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe. I love to do overhead videos like this. I also do plenty where I'm actually talking at the camera, doing my makeup, things like that. But I just really like to put a focus on using what I have, trying to get the most use out of what I have that I can, as much as possible. And I hope that if that sounds interesting to you, you'll subscribe before you head out and give this video a like if you enjoyed it today. Thank you again so much for your time, and I will see you next time.